What is up, you freaky folks? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things horror, whatever you're watching. I'm making videos about. And on Saturdays, I like to take a look at my favorite streaming service, Shudder, to find a solid horror movie recommendation for you guys. And it being November, I figure we're due for some twisted family horror. What do you think? A Tale of Two Sisters is a psychological horror film from South Korea. Sumi is a teen girl who is returning home from a mental institution. She lives in a secluded house with her sister, father, and stepmother. The girls carry out a contentious relationship with their stepmother as strange occurrences lead them to believe there is something very wrong with their house. You guys, I have a major confession to make, but I'm always here keeping it 100 with you, so I have to say, this was the first time that I ever saw A Tale of Two Sisters. I know, what am I even doing here, right? Well, I saw the English language remake The Uninvited when it came out back in 2009, and I felt like it just kind of ruined the twist for me. And I was kind of right. Let's start with the technicalities, because I thought this movie was beautifully made. The cinematography holds up even when streaming in low quality. Not only is the music perfectly matched to the imagery, but the entire sound design of the film creates this immersive and inquisitive experience. From a filmmaking standpoint, I thought the execution was absolutely perfect. But I have to say that I didn't love this movie as much as I was hoping I would. While I appreciate psychological and supernatural horror, they aren't the scariest subgenres to me. But I can't stop complimenting this movie because the biggest problem that I have with it is that I was way more interested in the family drama dynamic than the horrific elements that come into play throughout the film. Not the worst problem to have, in my opinion. And this is where I have to say goodbye to anyone who has not already seen A Tale of Two Sisters. I have to get into the spoilers, otherwise the review ends here and we barely got into it. So head to your favorite streaming service, Shudder or otherwise, watch it where you want to, and then come back to leave your comments. I can't stop you from being spoiled, but this is your warning. We learn about 3/4 of the way through the movie that the sister Soo-yeon has actually been dead the entire time. Her presence is merely a manifestation of Sumi's mind. And then we learn that the stepmother is also a hallucination. Really, it's just our protagonist and her father in the house, and everything is just happening in Sumi's mind. Now, I don't love this twist in general. I became a horror fan in the early 2000s when this movie came out, and when plenty of other movies were trying to do The Sixth Sense, and I know a lot of critics think this is one of the films that did it better, but I have to say, it did affect my viewing experience knowing the reveal before I watched it, and I feel like a movie like this should be designed to be enjoyed with that knowledge in mind. Instead, it just became confusing to me. So I have to talk about the horror elements, right? Because all of this stuff in the middle that is supposed to be thrilling, the stuff that's supposed to keep us on edge, did not work for me. So again, Sumi, she's our main character, right? She's seeing creepy stuff in the house, she's seeing ghosts and whatnot, but of course, I'm thinking this is all in her head. And so, I'm sorry, but you've got a ghost in your house, and you just dive under the covers in bed, you bury your head under the pillows and just hope that it goes away. Like, that's the kind of stuff that happens in this movie. I did not find that suspenseful or scary at all. I was like, homegirl, get up, come on, what are you doing? You got ghosts in the house, you need to grab a flashlight, shoo them away, pick up a Bible or something, start reading some incantations, get a religious figure if you need to, cleanse that damn house. If your creepy stepmother is just sleepwalking, you need to walk her ass back to bed. She's gonna sleepwalk her way down the stairs. You can't have that. It's not gonna be good. Honestly, I found all of these scenes to be frustrating instead of scary. This is the exact kind of shit that makes me say I don't like supernatural horror in every video I do on a supernatural horror film. Personally, I didn't love the way that this movie bounced between the supernatural and the psychological because it really didn't come together. Even knowing the information needed to make a clear determination, the movie still felt like it was going out of its way to be confusing when it didn't need to be. I did like the scene towards the end when the ghost of Soo-yeon comes for the stepmother. That was creepy, and I liked the way it established the house as the supernatural hotspot, but it honestly kind of felt a little tacked on at the end. I felt like these elements needed to be blended together better, because there was never a time while watching the movie that I thought the house was haunted. I just thought we were seeing everything going on in Sumi's mind. I don't really feel like, oh, here's where the ghosts were manipulating Sumi, and then here's where she was just crazy on her own. This is where the movie, I think, becomes confusing, and I don't think it's actually as masterfully constructed as a lot of people will think. You can feel free to disagree with me. That's perfectly okay. Maybe I need to watch this again, and I'm sure I will, because it's so well done. Again, it's just a beautiful film, but it doesn't come together and it doesn't gel the way that I think it needed to. A Tale of Two Sisters is a wonderfully made film that makes 2 hours fly by like nothing. The acting, the directing, and the editing are something to behold all on their own, so even if you try to avoid foreign films, this one needs to be seen. I'm gonna give A Tale of Two Sisters a 3.5 out of 5. And I want to talk about The Uninvited, the remake, for a minute, and I'm gonna spoil that as well, because I decided to watch it after watching A Tale of Two Sisters. The Uninvited is on Amazon Prime right now, and I remember it being a pretty basic PG-13 thriller, but something was like, you gotta rewatch it. Rewatch so you can compare the two. And here's what I have to say. While The Uninvited might be A Tale of Two Sisters for Dummies version of the story, what I prefer in the remake is that they keep the sister at a distance. No one interacts with her except for the main character. So as you're watching, you can kind of figure it out and you can piece it together. And I think there are plenty of things done in that movie, especially Elizabeth Banks' entire performance, where you can see it as two ways. You can see it the way you're meant to on first viewing, and then also what's really going on once you have it figured out. What I don't appreciate about A Tale of Two Sisters is the way I think it purposefully misdirects the audience just so it can pull the rug out from under us at the end. Again, the remake might be a watered down version, but I like the way it nails that aspect. The twist of it all kind of fits in place, whereas in A Tale of Two Sisters, I feel like it gets a little muddy. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Do you just hate all of my opinions? It's YouTube, so I'm sure you do. But if you don't, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'd like to recommend that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss any creepy content. I got more reviews and recommendation lists coming your way. I've got everything to satisfy the horror streaming lover's soul. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.